Jessica Mulroney wasn't just Meghan Markle's stylist. She was the human security blanket who helped craft the image that sold the world on a fairy tale. The wedding, the walk, the tears. It was Jessica's styling that made Meghan look like modern royalty. Tyler Perry wasn't just a friend. He was the billionaire safety net who caught Harry and Meghan when the palace walls collapsed. He gave them his mansion, his security team, his resources, and his reputation. But now, one's exiled from public favor, one's embroiled in legal scandal, and the difference between them exposes the unspoken rule of Meghan's inner circle. Loyalty doesn't keep you safe, usefulness does. Let's rewind to 2020. The world was on fire. Pandemics, protests, social reckonings, and in the middle of it all, an Instagram dispute exploded into a career-ending catastrophe for Jessica Mulroney. It started with Sasha Exeter, a Black Canadian lifestyle influencer, posting about the importance of using one's platform to support the Black Lives Matter movement. Jessica, seemingly feeling called out, privately messaged Sasha with what Exeter later described as threatening behavior. Screenshots surfaced, the public backlash was swift. Brands that once lined up to be associated with Mulroney quickly distanced themselves. Mulroney issued an apology, vague and corporate. She insisted she was learning, growing, reflecting. But what stood out wasn't what Jessica said, it was what Meghan didn't. The woman who had once described Jessica as her closest friend went silent. Deafeningly silent. Meghan didn't issue a private defense. She didn't release a public message of support. She didn't call Sasha Exeter for clarity or context. According to sources close to both women, Meghan stopped answering calls. Texts went unanswered. Jessica's name was suddenly unmentionable, even to mutual acquaintances. It wasn't just distance, it was erasure. One day, Jessica was styling Meghan for Vanity Fair covers and helping plan her royal wedding. The next, she was persona non grata. This wasn't just ghosting, it was execution by silence. Mulroney, trying to retain her dignity, posted tributes to Meghan's birthday, quotes about friendship, and cryptic stories about betrayal, but the message was clear. She had been cut off, and fast. Why the surgical precision? Because Jessica wasn't just a stylist, she was a witness. She knew what Meghan looked like before the royal glow-up. She saw the transformation up close. She helped script it. Jessica had been with Meghan long before the palace gates open. She had been present for the early days of Suits, for the Toronto years, for the first tentative dates with Prince Harry. She had heard the anxieties, seen the insecurities, and, according to insiders, been a sounding board for Meghan's ambitions. That made her dangerous. Not dangerous in a malicious way, but dangerous in the way only an ex-best friend can be. Jessica knew too much. And when her own image became radioactive, Meghan made a choice. Sever the connection before the contamination spread. It's no coincidence that Jessica's reality show was abruptly canceled. Brand endorsements evaporated. Her presence at public events dwindled. The once inseparable pair were now photoshopped apart, literally and metaphorically. Meghan, who had campaigned on kindness and understanding, ghosted a woman over a PR incident. The same Meghan who spoke about institutional cruelty, by many accounts, privately delivered her own. This is the paradox of Meghan's world. Empathy for strangers, exile for insiders. To understand Meghan's approach to relationships, one has to understand the architecture of her ascent. Throughout her journey, from cable dramas to royal ceremonies, Meghan has carefully constructed and curated an inner circle that aligns with her current brand narrative. Friends aren't just companions, they are validators, amplifiers, and sometimes shields. Jessica was the perfect ally during Meghan's early transformation. Stylish, connected, and media savvy. She helped craft an image of Meghan as cosmopolitan, progressive, and effortlessly chic. But when the court of public opinion turned on Jessica, her utility expired. This isn't unique to Meghan. Hollywood is littered with strategic friendships. But Meghan's particular contradiction lies in her public values: loyalty, feminism, anti-racism. Yet when her closest friend stumbled, she applied none of those principles. Had Jessica been a random stylist, perhaps the reaction would have been different. But she wasn't. She had too much access. And in Meghan's world, access without loyalty is a risk, and loyalty without usefulness is a liability. Contrast that with Tyler Perry. In 2020, as Meghan and Harry fled the UK under a cloud of royal drama, they found refuge not with a royal cousin or a political figure, but with Tyler Perry, a media mogul known for playing Medea and making billions while bypassing the traditional Hollywood machine. Tyler didn't just offer them his house, he offered them a fortress. Private security, isolation, confidentiality. When even the royals wouldn't provide them with protection, Perry stepped in. In interviews, Harry and Meghan spoke of him like a godsend. Meghan described breaking down in tears when she realized how deeply he understood their trauma. Tyler, it seemed, had become more than a friend. He was their rescuer. He gave them a place to land, and, perhaps more importantly, a platform to rise again. But fast forward to 2024. Tyler Perry becomes the target of a $260 million lawsuit filed by a former employee, alleging sexual harassment, workplace misconduct, and a toxic environment. The allegations? Damning. The accuser? Vocal and persistent. Suddenly, the man who had been positioned as a guardian angel was under scrutiny, and Meghan Markle? Silent. There were no supportive posts for survivors, no Instagram stories of vague solidarity, no interviews addressing the subject. This from a woman who had decried institutional silence when it was her suffering on the line. Why? Sources close to the Sussexes insist it's about respecting the legal process. But that didn't stop Meghan from making indirect jabs at the royals during her Oprah interview, long before formal inquiries were conducted. That didn't stop her from supporting public causes mid-scandal before. The truth seems simpler. Tyler Perry is still useful. He still owns massive production capabilities. He still commands media loyalty. He still has influence. And above all, he still hasn't turned on Meghan and Harry. That's the invisible contract in Meghan's orbit. Silence buys continued favor. Jessica Mulroney and Tyler Perry both played pivotal roles in Meghan Markle's post-royal life. One helped create the illusion, the other sustained it. But only one got discarded. Jessica's downfall was social, a PR scandal that jeopardized optics. Tyler's is legal, potentially criminal. Yet only Jessica faced exile. The difference? Jessica no longer served a strategic purpose. Tyler still does. This double standard reveals something uncomfortably transactional about Meghan's friendships. They are based not on loyalty, but on leverage. When Jessica's influence shrank, her access to Meghan vanished. When Tyler's reputation took a hit, but his resources remained intact, he stayed in the circle. And this is where Meghan's critics point to a pattern. The allies she keeps are not those who love her unconditionally, but those